2 weeks ago, the city of Troy chose to platform and praise the Hindu Swayamsevak song, or HSS. Last night, I spoke at Troy City Council about why that was such a disturbing decision. The HSS, with nearly 250 branches around America, habitually seeks to get its foot in the doors of city councils and many other governmental bodies in order to normalize itself as a legitimate religious or cultural organization, which it is not. Because Canton Township may be next, I am here to tell you why the HSS is bad news. The HSS is the international wing of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or RSS, a quite literally Nazi-inspired paramilitary in India. Many HSS members in America were previously RSS members in India. The HSS frequently hosts RSS officials from India to tour and inspect its units here in America. The HSS routinely sends its members to attend RSS training camps in India. The RSS promotes Hindu nationalism, believes India should be declared a theocratic Hindu nation, where non-Hindus are assimilated or eliminated, and teaches that Indian Christians and Muslims are foreigners, internal threats, and traitors. The RSS's founders took direct inspiration from European fascists like Mussolini and Hitler, even praising Nazi treatment of the Jews as a good model to adopt in India. Most HSS meetings feature garlanded pictures of these very same fascist-inspired RSS founders. Not only did an RSS member assassinate Gandhi, but the RSS today celebrates Gandhi's assassin. The RSS regularly conducts anti-minority lynchings, assassinations, terrorist bombings, and large-scale pogroms. RSS-affiliated groups throughout India are, at this very moment, rampaging through the streets, attacking and murdering religious minorities while openly chanting slogans calling for their slaughter. The HSS, aside from its commendable nonprofit charitable work, which it will highlight for governmental bodies whose stamp of approval it seeks, serves as an international propaganda mouthpiece for the RSS and its genocidal Hindu nationalist agenda. The RSS and the HSS do not represent all Hindus, but rather a small but extremely organized and vocal minority of Hindus who belong to a specific family of organizations that promotes a vicious, xenophobic ideology for which the fascist RSS paramilitary in India serves as the fountainhead. Now that you stand informed, we trust that Canton Township will exercise due discretion if and when approached by the HSS. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you which group do you represent? Okay, so that's not a formal...
I'm speaking as a group of community members.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, who's next? Anyone else for public comment? Anyone else for public comment? Do we have anyone online for public comment? Mm-hmm. Right. Are you with the same group?
Yes, I'm also part
Okay,
of
so
this.
he already spoke for your group. So that was the 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone online? Sir, are you with the same group that just spoke? Are you represented by Mr. Friedrichs?
No, he didn't represent me. Can I present myself?
If it's on the same topic, we gave him 5 minutes to speak for the group. Is this another topic?
I'm a
Okay,
Canton
go ahead.
resident.
3 minutes.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. And of course, I'm glad to live in a Canton Township, which is very multicultural and diverse, and we celebrate it every day. That's great. And good to see that our council is represented with a diverse team here. So that's very good. And I'm here just also to emphasize that like Canton is a village, and now the world is a village as well. And we may think, and maybe in 1930s, a lot of people thought that Europe was too far, and we neglected what happened there. and we saw the fruits of a xenophobic, vicious, and racist ideology. And so that's why I still like to kind of emphasize that we need to watch for similar fascist, policies and groups, and we have to keep an eye on it so that it doesn't penetrate here. We also see in America some of that reverberate, or some traces of that. I'm glad we are not that far yet, but we should be cautious. And also, India is not too far away, because a lot of us from that region and are close to it. So we appreciate the council to consider those vicious ideologies, and when time comes, pay attention to it. Thanks.
Thank you. Miss, I'm sorry. Are you speaking along the same lines, or you're a Canton resident? Okay, go ahead. I know, I just didn't know who she was.
Respected council members, India has been taken over by an extremist authoritarian regime headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi since May 2014. Attempts are on to cover up the extreme degradation of the country and its democratic institutions under Modi to ensure that the international community as well as the Indian diaspora in the US keeps the focus away from all that is wrong in the country. As a born Hindu myself living in the US, I feel compelled to reveal the larger game plan of not just the Indian government under Modi, but also his supporters in the US. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a product of the RSS, a right-wing paramilitary group inspired by the Nazis. The international wing of the RSS, the HSS, and its allies, including the World Hindu Council of America, Hindu American Foundation, Hindu Students' Council, operating in several US universities, supposedly to celebrate Hindu culture, are doing exactly the opposite. Modi and his ministers are using Hinduism to spread extreme hate against the minorities, whether it's the Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, or Dalits. The hate is being perpetrated to enable the government to get away with mass-scale corruption and looting. Modi and his supporters propagate the Hindutva philosophy, which is nothing but a saffron terror group not related to Hinduism. Modi supporters who have lived in the US for decades are pushing the radical Hindutva aggressively in every city and state in the US not endorsed by most Indians, especially Hindus. The US needs to wake up to the prospect of harboring Hindutva without being aware of it. US needs India to keep a check on countries like China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, but a terribly weak, cruel, pompous, arrogant, narcissistic prime minister who's weakening his own country, destroying the progress gained over 70 years in just 7 short years, can not be possibly anybody's ally. God bless America and God bless India. Thank you.
Anyone else? Sure. Okay.
Respected Council, Madam Supervisor, and all city officials, including police, fire, administration, and all the essential workers. What I'm about to say affects this great city of Canton and the multitude of residents in the city that have close family and relatives. So that's why it hits home. This isn't a political statement. This is, my uncles and aunts and cousins and people that I have grown up with that get affected. So, that's what compelled me to come here and state what I'm about to state. So I have a question for everybody in this room, including, of course, the city the council. Would you rather be on the side of Mahatma Gandhi and Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., or would you rather be on the side of the killers of Mahatma Gandhi, which was the RSS? That's exactly what happened. If you read history, an assassin from the organization that was mentioned before, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, with the acronym RSS, killed Gandhi, the father of the nation of India. Now, the HSS, the topic of discussion that I'm about to say, is the international wing of the RSS. And I'm not the one to make this claim standing here. It is the website of the HSS that makes that claim. So I'm just quoting from that. Now, only about 20% of the Hindu population in India subscribe to this radical ideology. of racial and religious supremacy. The vast majority of Hindus that I've grown up with in India were very tolerant and inclusive, hardworking, smart, honest, and humble people. I can say the same for my many friends here from the Hindu community. But there is an issue, because for now there remain silent observers, and that's what pains our hearts, that they're mute to this injustice that is going on in India against religious minorities. So I quote Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King again and say that the ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people. So I ask the silent and muted majority of my own personal friends, the community, and everybody here with the Hindu brothers and sisters who are many residents of this Canton city, please end your deafening silence. It hurts. Please voice your concern loud and clear. You can't be mute spectators standing around and just watching it, and you vote for your minority rights here in this great country of the land of opportunity, while you do not say anything for the same rights of similar minorities in India, which are the
Thank you,
Christians,
sir.
Muslims, and Dalits.
Thank
Thank you for your allowance.
Next. Okay, anyone online still? Do you have any comments online? No public comment?
I see no hands raised.
Public comments, thank you. We have public comments at the end also. Yep. Who was that? Okay.
Good evening, the trustees here. I was here about 3 decades ago in the same room asking the trustees to approve a parochial school in Canton. And you know what has happened in the last 30 years? That school has become the center of attraction for a large Muslim community in the United States. You see, there's a lot of Muslim families have moved in. So that brought peace, prosperity, and what I would say is diversity to the township. 3 decades after, I'm standing here to caution you about some forces, negative forces, the fascist forces influenced by Nazis, which are spreading around this area here. There's one, I heard the speaker said there are about 200 plus branches of RSS, and one of them happens to be in Canton. So we want to make sure that the supervisors here and the body, which is getting or gives the approvals for different organizations, for different operating permits, considers 2 equations. Number 1, RSS stands for Nazism. HSS equals RSS. We have started an organization called CAPI. It's a coalition of Americans for pluralism in India. And we will be more than happy to work with the organization, the Canton Township, to give a proper background or maybe educate the staff and the trustees and the supervisor, if I can say so, about this activities and the activities of the negative forces of RSS equals HSS in our communities. We cannot allow any negative forces training and impacting the peace of this community, which we have strived for the last 30 years to build in Canton. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Any other public comment? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Canton resident, and I feel very fortunate to be here today and giving me an opportunity to speak in front of this city council. I feel fortunate to be born in the land of Buddha, Phule, and Ambedkar. The message of love and compassion that Buddha gave is practiced by other countries but India. Today, people live in fear for their life. When I left India, I felt India was progressing and on the path of an ideal democracy that we envision in America. But that short-lived dream was shattered in 2014. We blamed the British for the atrocities they have caused upon Indians. But that was then. What the British could not destroy by 150 years of rule, the current Hindu fundamental government has been successful in destroying the peace and harmony in just 7 years. The organization like HSS in America runs on the ideology of RSS. RSS is the fundamentalist Hindu organization, just like Nazis in Germany, KKK in America. Current Hindu BJP government takes the direction from RSS to run the country, and the outcome is nothing but unrest in the society. Unfortunately, there are many misguided Hindus who support the RSS agenda in America, while Hindus avail the benefits of minorities in America, but opposes the same thing to Dalits or the other minorities. Recent Cisco caste discrimination are the outcome of emboldened fundamental ideologies. This double standard shall not have a place in our society, and this has to stop. This must be stopped. Ever since Hindu fundamentalist BJP came in power, religious and caste atrocities have been on rise. Rapes on Dalits and minorities, and the murders are happening in daylights. Minorities and Dalits are living in fear every single day for their life. As a resident of this town for more than 20 years, I do not want to see this beautiful nation and the city to be radicalized by Hindu extremists. I urge the City Council to allow us to offer the education on different aspects of India's culture and diversity. Thank you.